Hi there and welcome back. It's Lisa from Critters'n Designs in Ontario, Canada. Tonight I'm going to be showing you the birthday card organizer kit. Now I've had mine open for a while. I got it last week, I think. And so I started playing with it right away. But it's been a while since I've done a video, and I do apologize for that. It's just been hairy the last couple of weeks for us. And so I just, played with things when I would get a couple of minutes. But now I wouldn't say I'm settled down or organized, but I thought I would just quickly show you the birthday card organizer kit. It's just lovely. So it is, it's like an organizer little book with pockets that you put your cards into. Like if you know ahead who your January birthdays are, then you can just go ahead and pre-make them, pop them in here, and then on the 1st of January, just, mail everything. So they come with the monthly labels, which I've already put on here. And they come in English, French, German, and Dutch. And if anybody would like my French, German, and Dutch, just pop me an email. I'm not going to be using them, and I don't want to throw them away. So if you can use them, let me know. Anyway, so I've gone ahead and put my months in. And then I've gone through my address book, and I've put all of my birthdays in. And I'm sure I'm missing a few. Like, I'll have to go through really, carefully through my stuff and make sure that I'm not missing someone, because I'm sure that I am. There's a couple of months in here that are pretty bleak, and I know I have more birthdays in May instead of just one. And yeah, so you just go ahead and you pop all your cards and stuff in your envelopes as you're making them. And then there's a pocket back here as well. And I think what I'm going to use this for is I'm going to create an Excel file and print off labels. And I'm going to keep all my labels in the back here for Christmas and those kind of holidays. And then in the front here for my birthdays. Or maybe even, I haven't really thought about this, but maybe even put each month's address labels in the little pocket with the cards. This is just so sweet. I love this. And I did see one demonstrator actually colored hers with, I believe this is petal pink. Let me just check. Yeah, so the colors that go with this are basic black, evening evergreen, petal pink, Sahara sand, and soft succulent. So I'm going to color this in when I get time, or maybe bring it upstairs and just do it while I'm watching television or something. Just to give it some life. And I'm also going to put a label on the front. I haven't quite decided what it is yet, but there's a new stamp set coming out in November. It's actually going to be in the January to June mini catalog, but we had a I don't know what you call that, like an early release. I guess early release is, I guess, what it is. And it's called the Framed Florets, and it comes with a bonus stamp set called Framed and Festive. And then you should see the dies. Oh my goodness. These are just amazing. So I was thinking I might actually do something with these dies for the front of my address book. So these are the dies that come with the Framed Florets. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I can't wait to use them. So, yeah, so I'm thinking that I might use that on the front of this. I haven't designed anything yet, and I'm kind of like not sure 100% what I'm going to do. But when I saw this, oh, I couldn't believe it. I just think they're beautiful. Now, these are available. I was able to order them right away because I'm a demonstrator. So if you think you can't live without these and you want them right away, feel free to join as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'd love to have you on my team, the Critters'n Creativity. And actually, there is a special for the month of October The starting kit, normally you purchase $165 worth of product and pay only $135. But for the month of October, you get $206 worth of product for $135. And then you also get, yeah, free paper pumpkin, some catalogs, you know, to hand out to your friends, and some other sort of business stuff that you can use or not use. And just, you know, joining a team and becoming a demonstrator doesn't mean that you most of my demonstrators in my team are hobbyists, and they just joined to get the 20% discount. So, I mean, if that's, you know, if you're an avid crafter and you like to purchase every month, 20% that's a pretty good discount. So I'd love to hear from you if you're interested, and, you know, especially if you want to order this suite ahead of everybody else. Certainly now is the time to do it, and you can put that in as part of your opening order. And just the other things that are involved with this kit is this beautiful designer series paper. This doesn't really do it justice. I'll just quickly show you some of the papers here. They're absolutely stunning. Oops. So you have this beautiful, this is in shades of balmy blue and night of navy with little pink, polished pink little berries. And then the back is a polished pink little print. And then there's these little posies that are in the evening evergreen and balmy blue. And there's some soft succulent in there as well. And the back is an evening evergreen buffalo print. Buffalo check, I think you call that. And this beautiful floral. Now, some of the dies actually cut out some of these flowers. Now, I'm not 100% sure which ones do which, because I haven't had a chance to really take it out. Is that one of them? Ah, look at that, first grab. And I got one that actually will cut out that flower. Beautiful. Oh, love it. And then what other florals do we have in here? There's a few. Let's see. I don't know if this cuts out anything else. I know it cuts out obviously one of the stamps, but no. Well, you know what? I'm just going to play with it and see. You never know. As I say, I haven't had any time to really play with it, but I'm going to sink my teeth into this pretty darn quick. So we have this floral, and as I said, that one die does cut out some of the groupings. And there's the back. It's a balmy blue. So cute. And that's the same one. I love this one. Look at that. So, so pretty. And that's the back in the petal pink. And then we have this blue floral. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. With the soft succulent on the back. And then we have the mini floral. And that is the evening evergreen with the balmy blue together. Isn't that pretty? That's this one. I showed you that one already. Yep, and I showed you that one already. Aren't they beautiful? So again, these are available for demonstrators during the month of October. And they will go on sale to the consumer on November the 1st until January the 4th. Now, there is a little bit of urgency to this if you really, really like the paper. The paper is not going to be in the spring catalog, just the stamps and the dies. So, you know, if this is something that you're interested in, you may not want to wait, because when it's gone, unfortunately. And, you know, to me, it's one of the more pretty papers that we've had. Mind you, they're all pretty nice, but, and they won't be available. And then also, I almost forgot, there is a really cute little, what do I do with them? Some cute little gold, let me take them out of the package. I don't think you can see them. There's some gold, they look like brads almost, but they're self-adhesive. I don't know, can you see? They're like little spirals. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, they're very cute. And so this is also part of the suite. And these, I don't think these are available after January either. So if you see anything in here that you would like to have, and you don't have a Canadian demonstrator, I'd be more than happy to help you place an order or join my team. Boy, my manual dexterity today really is the pits. Let me get that in there. There we go. All right. So I'm going to put this aside for now. I think I'm going to use some of the sentiments out of these when I do some of the cards for this birthday kit. Just get that out of the way. So in the kit also, besides this beautiful little book, there is card sets. And in the kit, you get... now this is a non-stamping kit. Everything is just, it's all pre-printed for you. All you have to do is glue it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put a couple together the way they have them here in the instructions. And then I'll show you some of the alternatives that I made. I'm not personally a big fan of one layer cards. So I'll show you... Oh, I didn't finish showing you what's in here. Good Lord, see? Squirrel. I'm all over the place today for some reason. So in the kit, you have the months, which I already showed you. And then you have these crumb cake little banners that they're not sticky. You have to glue them on, but there's some crumb cake little banners. They're very cute. And then there's these punch out sheets with the flowers. I've already punched one out and used one on an alternative. And then they have these triangles that also punch out. And some leaves. So these are for the two different styles of cards. One is, the floral is for one and the triangles are for another. So we have those. And then we have 2 sheets. Are there 2 of these? Yeah, looks like it. 2 sheets of sentiments, and they're in English, French, German, and Dutch, again. And our envelopes. The envelopes are very cute. We have a green gingham in the soft succulent, and then a little stripe in the crumb cake. Oh, it's Sahara sand. Sorry, I keep saying crumb cake, but I just noticed it's Sahara sand. And then we also have these little peel and stick little sentiments in English, French, German, and Dutch as well. And then here are your card bases. So we have 6 of each. So we have the soft succulent, and really, I mean, look at these. You can make 2 cards out of 1 card front. And then on this, we have like a black and white dot, basic black dot. And there are 6 of each of those. Yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make the cards the way they are in the kit when it comes. So let's see, what do we need? For the first card, we need the green card base. And we need 1 of the Sahara sand strips. And one of the flowers. Now I already just punched out leaves and things, but I'm going to salvage a flower from the other. I wish they had the stamp set to go with this, but it looks very much like that. I forget the name of it, but the cottage rose. It looks a little bit like that. So I need a flower. Okay, so that's what we need for this. Plus we need one of these. All right, so let's get this stuff out of here. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my tear and tape. So now this kit also comes with tear and tape, glue dots, package of glue dots, and some dimensionals, as well as some little sequins, which are right here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take some tear and tape. And I'm just going to put tear and tape right across the back of this. Okay, and it says just to put it right on through the middle of your card base. Okay, and then we are going to put some dimensionals on the big flower. And some glue dots on the leaves. So they have it like this. And then our glue dots. I'm just going to take my Take a Pick tool and just pop some glue dots onto our leaves. I kind of hoard these glue dots. I use them for, well, I take them when I go visit my grandkids so that I'm not carting all kinds of stuff, but I like them because they're a little bit smaller than the regular glue dots that we get in the box. And sometimes you just need a smaller glue dot. And these are the same glue dots that you get in the paper pumpkin. All right, so they've got this down here. And my paper pumpkin came yesterday. I'm so excited. It is the, oh, it's called Ho Ho Ho. So I'm hoping to dig that out tomorrow. I haven't even opened it. I've been having just terrible technical issues with my quilting machine. You may or may not know I'm a long arm quilter, and I broke a needle last week, early in the week, knocked out my timing, and there was some piece of needle jammed into my bobbin area, and so my machine wouldn't sew. And luckily my husband is a machine technician, but he's been really sick for the last few days, well, all of last week. So he worked on it, but he couldn't work on it like he would normally, just, you know, sink his teeth into it and really work at it. He would work for a little while and take a rest. And anyway, we finally got it up and running yesterday, and I loaded a quilt today to do for a customer, and it will not quilt again today. So I don't know what the heck is the matter with it, but I'm losing my marbles. All right, so there's my sentiment, and there's the card. Isn't that cute? And that's how easy it is. You just pop them together. The beauty of these kits is that it even comes with a block. So every kit is 100%. Oh, this one didn't come with block because there's no stamping in it. But if it's a kit that has stamping in it, it will come with a little ink block, sometimes two on rare occasions, and a D-sized block for your stamps. So everything you need for that particular kit is always in the kit. Okay, so there's our first one. And our second one, card number 2, is we need one of the polka dot card bases. And our triangles that we popped out earlier. So this is going to go just right on here. And then this is going to sit here. There. That's the card. And then pop a sentiment on it and you're done. So as I said, I'm not a huge fan of a single layer card. So I'm going to take this card, and because seriously, this is all there is to it. You glue that onto it and this onto it, and that's the card. So I'm going to jazz this one up a little bit. So I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut this off at 4 by 5 1/4. So 4 inches by 5 1/4. And no, you know what? I'm going to cut this off at 3 3/4. So this is the one that I did earlier. You could do 4 by 5 1/4 and just pop it onto an evening evergreen card base without, like you could just do it like this. And I thought, well, that's okay, but to me it kind of lost something in translation, like the things are going to go like this. But with the evening evergreen, it just kind of lost, you know, any momentum that it had. So what I did was I put a soft succulent card mat underneath. So the card mat is 4 by 5 1/4, and then I cut down this polka dot to 3 3/4 by 5. So 3 3/4 by 5. Because the card by itself just wasn't calling my name. So, you know, just because the card kit comes, you know, with the directions like how to do it, and the directions are always very complete. This is, you know, showing you your tear and tape and where to put your embellishments and things like that. It even tells you how many. Like if you count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's telling you that there are 6 of those little sequins on the card. It tells you everything. And then on each kit as well, there's a ruler along the bottom that starts in the middle at 0, and it goes centimeters one way and inches the other way. So what I'm going to do with this one, so I've got my 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to take a piece of soft succulent that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I need a card base in, let me grab a piece of evening evergreen. Evening evergreen is quickly becoming one of my favorite colors. All right, so I know I'm going to make more than one, so I'm going to make 2 card bases. So I'm going to score it on the 8.5 inch side. I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. And then I'm just going to rotate it once and cut it at 5 1/2. And this is going to give me 2 regular sized card bases. Okie doke. So I'm going to put that over there. So I'm trying to talk myself into doing a live, Facebook Live or a YouTube Live. I've never done one. And well, I think I did one a couple of years ago and it was dreadful. So I'm thinking I might do another one, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to glue the soft succulent onto the evening evergreen. And I'm just going to center that. So I have like about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Now, before I glue this on, I'm going to have to alter my triangles because they were meant to go on a 5.5 by 4.25 piece of cardboard, right? So, but I've cut this down to 3 3/4. So I've got some major adjustments to make. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to place my point of my triangle right to the edge of the top right of this polka dot sheet. Okay, and I'm just going to glue. Now I don't normally put my glue, how far is that going to go? I don't normally put my glue on the base. I typically put it on the piece that's going to be smaller, but because I'm going to be sticking this into my trimmer, I don't want to have glue all over the black piece. There, so I'm just gonna, and the other reason I'm using liquid glue too is that if I need to shimmy this around, I can. There, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to trim this off. And I'm just using the edge of my black and white as my guide for my scissors. There we are. And then same with this, I'm going to put the triangle point in the bottom right-hand corner, like this. Okay. Oh, I got a little crazy with the glue there. Let's get my silicone mat here. If you're gluing on a desk, you should be using your silicone mat because the glue won't stick to it and it won't yuck up everything on your desk. So I think I did get a little squirrely with the glue there. Oh, no, actually not too bad. Tiny bit there. So I've got my corners of there and I can adjust it because it's liquid glue. I'm just going to trim that off. There. And now this can go onto here. And I have to say, I like this better than just this black and white. And even just putting the black and white onto the green, it sort of loses itself. It just doesn't knock me over. I like layers, and it is a little bit more work, and yes, it costs a few pennies extra, but literally it's just a few pennies, and to me it makes a world of difference. So this is my preference. Now you could pop this up on dimensionals, but with postal rates being what they are these days, sometimes dimensionals aren't necessarily the way to go. Don't get me wrong, I use dimensionals by the billions. I should have shares in the dimensionals store, but you know, if you're going to be doing a bunch of them, sometimes if there's too much bulk in the card, I've had one actually come back to me because it was too thick for regular postage, and I actually had to get another stamp on it. It kind of ticked me off, but you know, that's the nature of the beast. So what do I want now? Let's see. We need a birthday greeting. So happiest of birthdays. Now this by itself doesn't knock my socks off, but I'm not real sure what to put on there. Maybe some ribbon. No, you know what? Maybe some baker's twine. What do you call this? Linen thread. This isn't baker's twine. This is a little piece of Now you can see how squirrely it is. It's like all curly. If you just run it over your bone folder, it'll tame it right down. So I'm going to just roll a little bit on my hand. And I'm going to pop up my greeting. Oh. It's sticking to me. Okay, and then I'm going to just lay that behind. I just feel like it needed, you know, something. And de-squirrely it a little bit there. There we are. There, I like that a little bit better. And then for me, this seems kind of more masculine. So I'm not going to be putting little sequins on it, but you could put in the annual, I think they're in the annual catalog. You have the classic matte dots, and some of these might be kind of cute because they're black, very vanilla and gray, basic gray. So we maybe throw one of those on there. And again, you know, don't get me wrong, if you want to do your card the way it is in the instructions, by all means, or if you know, you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of product, absolutely do it that way. So let's see, I think I'm going to put just a couple of little dots here. There. I love that. Beauty. Okay, and then for the inside, because this is a non-stamping kit, there were no greetings with it, but as I said, I did get my framed florets stamp set yesterday. So we can go ahead, and I'm just going to grab a piece of basic white. And I'm going to use for a special person on a special day. Just grab a block. So, okay, and I think I'll stamp it in the Evening Evergreen. Now, if you haven't used your stamps, if they're brand new, it's always a good idea to give it a wipe on your chamois first. And the reason for that is in the manufacturing process, you know, sometimes there's a residue and it doesn't always stamp clean the first time that you stamp with it. So I try to remember, I'm not, you know, I try to remember, let's just leave it there. To wash my stamps before I use them. All right, so I'm going to center this. I'm just going to stand up, make sure that I'm straight. Beautiful. Just get that a little clean so I'm not getting ink on anything else, because I don't know, it seems to be a gift I have to get ink fingerprints on everything. All right, so I'll put that away. Now these are floral, so I wouldn't necessarily put florals on a masculine card. So I think it's fine just the way it is. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that into the center of my card. Now you can use your snail if you're more comfortable with snail. If you're not familiar with what snail glue is, this is the Stampin' Seal here. So it's a tape runner. And I do use it a lot, but for some reason I seem to gravitate towards the liquid glue. I guess it's all preference. I have a friend who doesn't use the liquid glue hardly at all, and I use it 90% of the time. So there's that card. And now I want to do something to this one, but I'll hold off and finish that one, do something with it later. So I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking, I hate to waste this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. You know what? Move. Maybe 4 1/8. Because I don't want to cut my leaf off. And then I'll take 1/8 off the bottom. And so let me see. I really should have trimmed this before because I kind of had an inkling that I was going to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to snip off 1/4 of an inch from this side. And then I'm going to mount it on my other card base that I made a couple of minutes ago. And just putting that little background behind there, like what a difference, right? And you could also put, let me see if I have another. You could also put another layer of the soft succulent behind there as well, if you wanted to. Although with this one, I might be more inclined to do oh, this isn't even soft succulent. What am I looking at? Soft succulent is this one. I grab one. Yeah, so if you did the soft succulent behind the, or on the evening evergreen, isn't that pretty? To me, it just wakes it right up. So if I was going to do that though, I would have to trim this down just a smidgen more so that I have the right size to go. But I love that. I think that's just so pretty. But I think for now, I'll just go ahead and glue it right onto here because I can. And if I was going to use a smaller one of these, I definitely would trim it before I decorated it. Because it's kind of hard sometimes to get it into the trimmer when there's layers. Especially if you have layers with dimensionals. There, so pretty. And then another card layer on the inside. And what will I put on this one? Wishes for a beautiful birthday. Oh, is that going to be big enough? Barely, but I think it'll be okay. Again, I'm going to use Evening Evergreen. So I'm doing this one sideways, right? Yep. So again, I'm going to stand up. Just going to make sure I'm straight. Doesn't seem very inky. All right. So I'm not pressing hard, but I am going to let this stamp sit there for a second so that the ink absorbs. And we'll go ahead and glue that one in. Oops, got some glue. There. Beautiful. right. So these are our two main cards that we've just upgraded a smidgen. And then at our team meeting the other night, we did a mystery card. And so I thought, oh, love this. So we're going to do this mystery card that we did the other night. Oops, goes this way. Isn't that cute? So what we used was the other half of the card that we just cut in half. All right. So I used half and half of this piece to do this card. So my white part was 2 5/8 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4. So basically I'm just cutting the bottom off the white part. And then, what did I say? 2 5/8, right? Oh, 2 3/4 I can do. Okay, so I'm going to cut this to 2 3/4 because that's 5 1/2, and half of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. So 2 3/4. And then I also will need a piece of evening evergreen that's 4 1/4 by 11, and I've got it scored at 5 1/2. But so I'm going to cut 2 3/4 off of the bottom of this. So 2 3/4. Here is my card base. And then here is my other piece, which is 3, what did I say? 8 1/2 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to fold this in half at 4 1/4. Okay, and this is going to sit like this. I had tried doing the little part in, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart with this color, soft succulent piece here. I tried it with the soft succulent yesterday, and I prefer both pieces to be in the evening evergreen. And then this would go like that. Or actually, you know what? The more I look at it, the more I don't mind that. Here it is with green on green, and there it is with soft succulent. Maybe I'll do this one in the soft succulent just to see what it looks like. Yeah, I think I will. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this right into here. I'm going to center this into here. So let's go ahead and put glue on there. And then, so this is going to go like this. So we're going to put one piece of our other card base that we cut into the little pieces, and we're going to put this onto here. And just center that right in there. And then what I did on this one is I actually took some of the Lights Aglow designer series paper, which is in the July to December mini. And so I used this one. It's got little gold Christmas trees on one side. And then this bokeh dot on the other. So let's see. Let's see, what else do we have? This is okay. This to me is more for a masculine card. I don't love that. I mean, not that I don't like it, but for this particular card, I don't. I think I'll probably end up sticking with the bokeh dot. here's the polka dot in the lighter color. I don't know. Let's toss up. I think I'm going to stick with the evening evergreen. I like that. So for this piece, I need, so this is, and you know what, I think I got this too small, but it's going to work. It's fine. 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. So I want a piece that's 2 1/2 by 4. So 2 1/2 by 4. So let's cut the 4-inch piece first, and then 2 1/2. Yeah, I think I like that. So we'll go ahead and glue this onto here. And then the other piece from the other half of the front of the card is going to go in here. But first I'm going to stamp a sentiment. I always stamp before I glue, because that would be the day that you don't stamp it straight, or the ink smudges or something. So let's go ahead and grab that. We could do wishes for a beautiful birthday. Why not? Since we have it on the block already. Trying to be straight here. Beautiful. Okay. Now, because this is absolutely a more feminine card, I'm going to grab one of the little leafy elements here. And stamp that up in the evening evergreen. Now, because this stamp has not been used yet, I am going to give it a wash on my chamois. It's, you know, nothing serious, just give it a little wipe. And actually, I think I'm going to stamp it off paper here. So I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp it, just for a lighter little look. And then we can go ahead and glue that into the inside of our card here. So pretty. Oof, love it. I'm gonna wait. This isn't a regular cardstock that dries like immediately. The cardstock is a different different paper. So I'm just gonna give it a second before we close this up. And then, so now we can decorate the front of this with one of our roses. All right. I think I might have to get another one of these kits. I just love it. Oh, that's so pretty. I think what I'm going to do too, let me grab my alcohol markers, my blends, and I'm going to just color it in a little bit like I did with this one. Okay, so I've got my Petal Pink, Evening Evergreen, and Soft Succulent, and I'm just going to fill these in a smidgen and just give it some color. Now, one thing to keep in mind when using alcohol blends is that it will actually go through your paper. And I remember the first year that I was a demonstrator and I was going to an event and I was doing a ton of floral cards for my swap. And I didn't realize that it went through the paper. And I was doing it on a TV table watching a movie with my husband. And when I was finished, the top of the TV table was all pink, different shades of pink. And it was like, oof. Isn't that special? So, yeah, just be careful. Thus the silicone mat underneath. Okay, so I've got my Wink of Stella here. I like to winkify my flat. I just love Wink of Stella. I use it a lot. Again, optional. Now, I just reloaded this with alcohol, so it might be a little bit on the wet side. There's an awful lot of, if you have one and it's getting kind of dry, literally just put 5 or 6 drops of alcohol in it. This comes like off, you can unscrew. And there's a chamber in there. And I just use a little eyedropper and I put about 6 or 7 drops of alcohol, rubbing alcohol in there. And it completely revitalized my my Wink of Stella, because there's a ton of glitter that just sits in the bottom. And also, one thing, make sure you shake it really well before you use it to get those glitters out of the bottom, because they just sit there and they kind of coagulate. So if you can, you know, you'll double the lifetime of your Wink of Stella if you shake it well and add a little bit of alcohol when it starts to get a little bit unglimmery, because it needs alcohol. I can hear my cat out there. Let me in. You're having more fun than I am. There we are. All right, so let this dry for half a sec. Where are my dimensionals? This desk is a disaster. There we are. All right, so I'm gonna pop this little puppy up on dimensionals. Oh my God, that's cute. Cute, cute, cute. I just took the cover off of one here. All right. Alrighty, so I'm going to pop this on there, and I do apologize for being a little scattered today. For some reason, I'm just not in gear. How am I going to put this on here? Maybe like this time? Alrighty, and our little sentiments, where are they? Okay, so pop one of these. And my sequins are cat hair is always available at my house if you're lacking any. Okay. And there we are. Isn't that pretty? Now it does come with envelopes. So let me grab the green gingham ones. So you can elevate your envelope by stamping. I always stamp my envelopes. So I'm going to stamp off. So let me grab my scratch paper that I had before. Gosh, what a mess. Stamp it off. And there we are. So there's my envelope. Just clean these before I have a disaster on my hands. Very heavy-handed with the ink tonight. Good grief. All right. So there we have a couple of alternatives for our birthday organizer kit. There, I'm going to jazz that one up. I think it's really lonely. So I'd like to say thank you for spending some time with me today. Again, if you're interested in this kit or are interested in learning more about becoming a demonstrator and getting a shopper's discount, please contact me at critters'n'inc.com or by Gmail at critters'n'inc@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you do like to place an order, I would love if you would use my host code, and everyone who uses the host code does receive a handmade card from me, and your name goes into a draw for a gift at the end of the month. If your purchase is over $200, don't use the host code because you'll be earning host rewards of your own, but your name will still go into the draw and you'll still receive a handmade card from me. So once again, thanks so much for joining me. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.